What's up, guys? As requested, I'm gonna be reviewing a video called How Being Single is the Gift That Keeps Giving. And the video starts with the most ironic shot possible. Him with his two dogs because he wants children so much. You can't make this up. You would think that it's a joke. Maybe he's completely not aware of what he's doing.
Couple days before Christmas, so I figured today would be a good day to talk about the gift that keeps on giving, and that is the gift of freedom.
I guess that to him being single is freedom, which is the opposite, of course.
The gift I give myself consciously every single day. And this is the gift that I want to help you guys, especially those of you who are struggling with it after being in a relationship for a long time, or for you guys who are single and don't fully appreciate or understand just how valuable this gift is.
Right, but you're going out with your dogs because they want to be in nature, just like you, of course, also, deep down. But my point is that you're enslaved by the two dogs, whether you realize it or not.
How to make it more valuable and how to cause it to appreciate. So,
I mean, how can you make a video about how you appreciate being single and then you walk with your dogs, which you only got because you want children so much? It's just, it's just so funny, sad. What is this? Pathetic? I don't know.
when you appreciate something, it does increase in value. However, the appreciation is an active thing. It's not something that happens passively. Like, you can appreciate something like standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon and look out and go, wow, that's really cool. But that's not the same. You know, when I'm talking about appreciation, I'm talking about increasing its value in your life on a daily basis and doing it in a conscious way so that no one will ever take it from you again. And you'll be much less likely to turn it over to anyone because it means too much to you. Let's talk about it.
He goes out into so-called nature, some kind of park, whatever, forest. That's cool, I guess. But when you're alone, you can be wherever you want to. You will always feel miserable.
So when I talk about freedom, let's get real clear about what freedom is. It's freedom from...
Freedom is not being enslaved, doing what other people tell you to do, in the case of humans, and you simply do whatever you want to do naturally. All of your needs and desires are fulfilled. You want to do something, you do it. That's freedom.
All of those external attachments that you think you need to have a fulfilled or happy life. That's a very complex statement there. So let me break it down a little bit. External attachments. There are certain things that you absolutely need. You need food, you need water, you need air, you need shelter.
Yeah, and you need family, love. Without love, a baby dies, literally, if they don't get touch from their parents, mother, father, siblings. It's as essential as food to your life. You can eat raw meat, drink blood, eat the best food on earth, live wherever you want to, like Paul Saladino in his super fancy house in the forest in nature. You're still gonna be super miserable and just die from loneliness. So it's as essential as food to you, love and family.
That's probably about it. Beyond that, everything else...
Yeah, because you failed and you want to talk yourself into believing that. I get it. It's a coping mechanism, but it's not gonna work.
is something that you believe you need. Specifically, I'm talking a lot about relationships here.
Right, because we don't need relationships. When a man wants to be intimate with somebody or a woman, then it's just for fun. It's not as if your reproductive organs want to sort of connect or interact with the reproductive organs of the other gender. No, it's just, I don't know what he will come up with. Something that doesn't make any sense, probably. It's not as if your body literally biologically wants to reproduce and then the outcome is children. And because you want to reproduce a lot in your life, you should have 10 plus children. No, that's not how literally everybody used to live. It's not what's natural for us. It doesn't make us happy. Come on, yeah, go on with your delusion.
For this channel's purpose, but really it could apply to a lot of other stuff. I think a lot of your belief systems are things that you are attached to that cause you a lot of pain, and they restrict your freedom. But that's a video for another day. So let's just talk about relationships specifically here, and very specifically romantic relationships with women, because our society has kind of led us to believe.
I just can't believe that he talks about this while he's there alone in the forest with his 2 dogs. It's just unbelievable that he did this.
That we need these relationships in order to have a happy and fulfilled life. And nothing can be further from the truth. This belief system is deeply ingrained in us from a very early age.
Well, because it's natural, because every child already dreams about having children up until they are talked into studying and whatnot. They think about their life later. It's how it is. That's why girls especially love to play with baby dolls, puppets, because they want, obviously, siblings. What's also really funny about this is that he doesn't understand what freedom is. Having a family, children, love around you is freedom. You cannot have freedom any other way, because he was probably brainwashed, or maybe from the looks of it, possibly he wasn't even able to have a family. Okay, he's older now. Who the hell knows? I don't know anything about this guy, but whatever the case, freedom would be you doing what you naturally want to do, as I said, and seeing as everybody on earth, except if you're asexual. Yeah, that's possible. That's a thing today. You want to reproduce, because when you want to be intimate with somebody, you're trying to reproduce with them. So over 99% of people on this earth are trying to reproduce, but because you're brainwashed not to have children, you have no idea how it is to have a child, to hold a baby in your hands. You just cannot know it. It's like never eating meat and trying to explain to somebody how meat tastes. It's impossible. You will never know up until you hold your baby. And then you will know. Then you will know that you were wrong your whole life. Up until that moment, you will never understand it. So there's no point for me to explain it to you. My point is simply that freedom would be you doing all of that. Yeah, eating naturally, having a family, everything that you want to do. So not doing that because you're brainwashed not to is enslavement. So it's the opposite of freedom. So him talking about freedom when he's single is so twisted, because he's talking about the opposite of the reality.
So a lot of guys coming out of a marriage in particular really feel like they're lost for a while. And a lot of young guys who have not been in a serious heavy-duty relationship like a marriage feel like...
Yeah, but the relationships today and marriages don't even exist. Yeah, that's all nonsense. But it's a different story.
They need that in their life to feel fulfilled, or to find the happiness or joy or whatever it is they're looking for. And of course, these things are constructs of our media and our society, and these are narratives that serve other people, but they don't necessarily serve you. So you need to get really...
What is he talking about? Marriages? Then I pretty much agree. You marry somebody by having children at a natural age, and then you create this bond, and then you are unbreakable. That's marriage, naturally. Signing some stupid certificate and whatever, yeah, of course. It's nothing. As if a paper or a signature will hold you together. Only your biochemical state will. The way you look at somebody and you fall in love with them and you want to be with them, do everything for them.
Clear in your head about what's important to you in particular and why it's important. If a relationship is in the cards for you because you truly believe that it is something that is important to you, not because it's a need, but because it's something that you desire, then see it for that. It's a desire. It's like chocolate cake after dinner. You don't need it, but it...
What do you mean? How do you not need it? Do you not need to reproduce, as in be intimate with somebody? Can you just hold it in for the rest of your life? Well, then you're enslaved. Again, you're not free. Because a slave would be brainwashed or literally physically forced not to do it. That's actually what they used to do with actual slaves who were chained. It's different, but very similar to what's going on right now. How are you free then if you're not allowed to do what you need to do biologically to be happy and healthy? And when you do that, again, when you're not brainwashed, to protect yourself against children, to protect yourself against something that will make you happy, again, you're a slave, then of course, how can you possibly say that that's not freedom or that you don't need it if your body needs it? This guy makes no sense.
It would be fun to have it. But with that in mind, there are a lot of dangers associated with it, and I've done a ton of videos on that. So let's just proceed forward with freedom and why it's so important, how to implement it in your life, and how to make it grow so that you appreciate it, and the lack of having a woman in your life isn't an issue for you at all.
So you watch porn or you pay somebody? What do you mean, man? It's natural for a man, except if your testosterone is like 100, to want to be intimate and reproduce. What's going on here?
So in order to fully experience freedom, it's going to require that you focus on yourself. And this is counterintuitive for a lot of guys, because focusing on the self feels selfish. And it is not selfish in this context.
We do that naturally anyway. It's not as if somebody needs to tell us to do it.
Yeah, you gotta take account for your money, man. You want to have money because that money represents freedom. That money gives you the ability to make decisions on your own behalf, to do the things that you want to do.
Money doesn't even exist. Literally. It's in your imagination. How can it give you freedom? I know what he's talking about, but still. It gives you a better life in slavery. Yeah, that's true. It can be very helpful, but you're still in slavery. So you can have a better slave life, but it's not freedom. Freedom is a nature, nowhere else. If you're looking for freedom in slavery, then you're completely lost.
It's not just a matter of being intellectually free or having the time to be free. You're not
time also doesn't exist.
Tied down by a woman, and you're not tied down by somebody else's narrative about your life. But
if you're tied down by somebody around you, whoever it is, then it's not a right relationship anyway. It doesn't matter if it's some woman or whatever.
You gotta have the money to actually do something about it. So you need to focus on how you can increase your wealth on a consistent, reliable, steady way where you have as much control as possible. Because if you turn over this process to something like the markets and you depend on the markets, well, it's inevitable that you're going to be at risk for losing all your money. So although the markets can certainly play a role in it, you can't rely on that as your wealth generator. All right, this last one is actually kind of tough. It's a lot tougher than it sounds, and it is your emotional freedom. Emotions are like women. Emotions, you need to be able to guide them, or they will guide you. And
what? You should express yourself freely. That's freedom. What he means by guiding them is, again, being enslaved, controlling them, as in you're controlled because you're afraid of what people will think about you. For example, if you feel like you shouldn't cry as a guy, you're simply just afraid of what people around you will think about you, so you're controlled by fear.
So you had a thought about how lonely you are, and now you're sad. That's a thought that results in an emotion. That happens. The other thing is they are like a barometer for the experiences that we're having. They provide us feedback to what's going on around us. So either you're initiating an emotion for the sake of experiencing that, and you can control that by changing that thought. So, yeah, I'm lonely, but that just means I'm alone. It doesn't mean I'm lonely. I'm alone. So because I'm alone, I have options. I can do things to fill my time. I can go for walks in the freezing cold, and it's like 22 degrees out here. It is cold with my dogs and stand by this creek. Or I can sit in front of the TV.
That's also interesting because it sounds like he feels like he's still alone, even though he is there with his dogs. And that's how it is for everybody. Think about it. Have you ever said, if you go for a walk in the park to somebody, let's say you call them, hey, I'm going to go out for 30 minutes. Yeah, I'll go alone. And then you take your dogs with you. Have you actually ever thought of saying, oh, I'm going to go with the two other ones or whatever? No, because you only say that when it's humans, because only human companionship actually makes you feel good. I'm not saying anything against dogs as such, but you never actually see them as somebody who actually brings up real emotions of love, like I said, companionship, this feeling of belonging, as if somebody is actually there, as if the loneliness is taken away from you. No, even he himself, the way he talks, it's as if he is there alone. Because technically, besides the dogs, there's also bugs crawling around there, there's birds, but you always feel alone. Because the only time you don't actually feel alone, as a guy or as a woman, is when you have your children around you. That's the reality.
And watch football today. I can exercise, or I can
watch football. So watch some guys kick a ball or whatever. Or in the US, run around with a ball with protective gear. Stupidest sport on earth. What a joke. Hey, what is he talking about?
or eat. You know, you can start to think about what things you want to do with your life rather than being...
Right, but you only watch football because you want to hunt. You only exercise because you want to hunt. You only have dogs because you want children. And so on. You're just imitating what you naturally want. So that's enslavement. Your life is the very definition of a slave.
Lonely. Being alone is a gift. You have the opportunity to use your time the way you want.
Yeah, because you want to talk yourself into believing that. I get it.
Want to for your own benefit. You don't need to go into that sad state of being lonely. Now, the other part of emotions is you get this feedback from your body. Sometimes
it's so great to go to bed alone. Yeah, it's just such a great feeling. Having nobody to talk to, it just really warms my heart. It just makes me so happy.
You get this emotional surge that doesn't seem to have originated from some thought. You feel something in return. Negative emotions that you feel in that way are generally telling you that you're headed in the wrong direction. Then you just have to change your scenery. You need to get away, do something different. And when those thoughts come up, when those thoughts about whatever it is that's making you upset come up, you need to practice this very simple technique. You say, I'm not going to have that thought right now. I'm not going to have that thought right now.
What the fuck are you talking about? When you have these thoughts, you listen to them, so to speak, and then you do exactly what you want to do, because a human being is only upset when they are not doing what they want to do, or when something happens to them which they do not want, and then you do whatever it takes to solve it. It's not about repressing or controlling it.
Now, that's all. It's not like you're never going to have that thought. You're just not going to have that thought right now, and you're going to move on to something else. And then just put your attention on something else. Read a book, find something you can do actively, get out for a walk, do something that will activate your brain and keep you busy. But you
repress it basically, suppress it, whatever.
Cannot allow your emotions to drive your life. You have to drive your life with your rational...
Man, your emotions are your body telling you what's wrong with you. If you repress it, then that's it. Again, it's enslavement. Wow. Just the irony of this whole video.
Mind. Our rational minds are our gifts. As men, we are very fortunate that we're not driven by emotion. So use your rational mind to drive your experience, and to understand that the thoughts that you're having are going to have emotional repercussions.
Also funny how he has this stupid haircut with the sides shaved off, like some guy in his 20s.
From time to time. And if you're having a thought that's leading you to an emotional repercussion that you don't enjoy, Change your thought. It's just as simple as that. Change your thought about it. See it from a different perspective. See it from an understanding that maybe this is a good thing, that it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, just talk yourself into believing that it's a good thing that I'm alone here with my dogs, talking about how it's great to be alone. Yeah, just talk yourself into believing something else, like that's gonna work. Like you can change your nature.
Maybe there's a lesson in this for you. Maybe there's value in this experience. But don't allow yourself to
Just anything not to accept the truth.
get lost in the emotion, because it's just like this giant pit and it will swallow you up. Don't let that happen. You cannot allow that to happen. Waking up every morning and realizing you've got this gift and now it's up to you to cherish it and to make it more and more valuable. When you do that, your life is going to be better and your ability to attract the kind of person that you want will be improved. And if you decide that you never want to have a woman in your life, you won't miss her. You won't miss that woman, because
How or why would somebody ever decide that? Except again, if they are asexual, then it's understandable, yeah? But most people are not.
you're so happy and fulfilled with the life that you've
But you would literally not be fulfilled. That's the whole problem. Because something very huge is missing in your life. So you will feel empty.
created. All right, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this video.
Oh my fucking god, man. This guy is beyond delusional. He's really trying to make himself believe that he's actually free, even though he's one of the most enslaved people that I have ever seen. And him making this video with the 2 dogs was just a cherry on top. He really doesn't even probably realize, because of this control, that he actually wants to have a big family. He just walks with those dogs all the time, taking care of them, but then talks at the same time as if he's alone. Because, as I said, he basically is, because dogs are not the same as humans, obviously. No matter what animals you will have around you, it's never going to be the same. It's impossible. Even if you have some kind of friends, buddies from your work, school, you also usually just share interests. It's not really your family. The people that you connect to really are your own family members. And when you're removed from your family, especially if your parents already passed away and you are alone with your dogs, no matter where you live, what you eat the best diet on earth, nothing is going to make you happy. It's impossible. Not only that, you're not even really going to be healthy, because your biochemical state is going to be so depressed and stressed from just being alone with the dogs. It's going to drive you nuts. Really one of the most miserable lives that I've seen. Not necessarily so much because of the way he lives, but because he really tries to talk himself into believing that it's good for him, that he's free. That's the problem, because you're at the stage in your life where you're so miserable. He also looks just really miserable and depressed. Zero happiness visible, or joy anyway, that you just will do anything to want to believe that it's good the way it is. That's the point that he's at right now. And not only is he lying to himself, which is clear, he's also lying to his audience, and he wants others to believe the same. He just believes that it will be an easier life for them, because that's the kind of people that he attracts to his channel. And he's giving the worst kind of advice possible. No, what you need to do is literally listen to your emotions, your needs, desires, and then do exactly what you want to do naturally. And everybody knows that deep down. Yeah, it's suppressed, of course, because of brainwashing for the most part, but you can easily deprogram yourself. And especially if you start eating naturally, you will right away start realizing what you really want when you're biochemically more healthy. And having a family and children is one of the first things that you will realize that you want. All that he did in this video is just constantly say, control your needs, emotions, try to talk yourself into believing that you don't actually feel lonely, you don't actually feel as bad as you feel. There's something good about it. Make the best out of it while talking with a face expression which just shows pure misery. That's all that I saw here. As far as this topic goes, the very best that you can do is have children at a natural age. Have as many as you possibly can. The older you get, the less you will have. That's normal. You shouldn't only have 2 children or 0, which is what the government would say today. Instead, you can have cats and dogs. But even these cat ladies out there are longing for children so much, the same way as this guy. But what are you gonna do? Accept the reality that you essentially failed at life? Or simply live in your delusion, believing that there's something good about it? You can still make the best out of your single life. Yeah, maybe it's easier to talk yourself into believing all of the lies. And if you talk other guys around you into believing the same, join some kind of groups online, maybe it's easier to live in this mass delusion. But you're lying to yourself, of course. You're always going to be miserable because of that. There's no lies, nothing you believe that's ever going to take away this pain and the actual loneliness. No dogs, no cats, no groups that you join. Nothing is going to replace something that's natural. All of these solutions to you living unnaturally may seem easy, but really they will be very hard on you. And you will try to do anything to replicate and imitate what you naturally want to do anyway. In this case, having children, which is what he does with the dogs. It will always be deep inside of you. It will weigh on you no matter what you do. Therefore, the only real freedom is to accept the reality. It may be painful at first, but once you accept the reality that your life is the way it is, no matter how old you are, even if you can't have children anymore, then in the end, it will be a lot easier on you. The weight will be taken off you, and the weight is just really your own denial. Thanks for watching.